So hidden treasure. I have always liked it up here in the crow's nest. It's the one part of this boat that I really do love. The highest point, the lookout. From way up here, you can see for miles. Not that there's much to see, except, well, the sea. Sea, and more sea. But the wind is up and it's nice in your hair. Can't have your hat on up here, it'd blow right off. And way below, down on the deck, the other sailors, going about their tasks, busying about. They all look so small. I can almost forget that they're there. I can imagine it's just me on my own, off to find my fortune. But when I close my eyes, it's so easy to think of my family, all those miles away, all those days and days of sailing away from them. I remember when I left them, Bonnie, my beautiful wife, and Tilda, our energetic daughter. We will miss you so much. Please be careful. Did you find that extra scarf I put out for you? Bonnie had said. Yes, please don't worry about me. Will we be able to write to you? Tilda looked a little sad. Maybe because she knew she wouldn't see me for a while, but I think mainly because she just wanted to share in the adventure, and of course wasn't allowed to come along. Tom, you know our love will always be with you, and please, be careful. I know, I will. I picked up Tilda and swung her around like she loves. And I will bring you back all the riches you can imagine, and we will never be hungry or poor again. And then I can have a red bow in my hair. We laughed, and although we were leaving each other for a long time, and none of us knew quite how long, it didn't seem a sad moment. I jumped aboard and waved along with the other merchants as we set sail, leaving our beloved families behind. That was weeks ago. And my, oh my, so much has happened since then. We've seen flying fish, sharks the size of boats, jellyfish that seemed to look at you as you sailed past, and all manner of monsters I can't begin to describe. There was one time where Jack nearly lost his arm to one of them. And the weather, gosh, the weather. Storms like you would never believe, waves so high and winds so strong, lightning that seemed to crackle right through you. There was one crazy time, the only time we've docked on at an island since we left. We had to leave in a bit of a hurry. The natives turned out to be cannibals. But there have been good times too. Those dolphins that seemed to follow us for days, and the whales that did nearly as impressive jumps as the dolphins, and then sprayed us for the fun of it. Food has been quite low quite often, but I'm used to that. I asked Captain Hendricks to do more than my fair share of lookouts up here on the crow's nest. Up here it's quite quiet and peaceful. The wind in my hair and the sound of it billowing the sails. We're still heading southwest, always southwest. The horizon never seems to change, always far off with the promise and the hope of reward. We're all here for that reason, all 37 of us, in it for the money. Maybe we're greedy, but we'll all take it back to our families and put it to good use. At least that's what I'm going to do with it. I asked Jack and Ernie and William. They were very clear. No sharing. It was only for their own families. That's fair enough, I guess. So here I am, up here, swaying in the breeze, looking out to the distance, hoping soon we'll find the treasure of our dreams. And today might just be the day. It almost twinkled in the bright sun, a small island right ahead. Land ho! I shouted down to everyone. There was a flurry of movement, people pushing to the bow, Captain Hendricks getting his telescope out, and then his mouth dropped open, eyes widened with excitement. He looked up to me with a huge smile and did a big thumbs up. Soon enough, we were docking at the most incredible island. It was almost unbelievable. We were cautious at first, after our last experience at an island, but our slight fears turned to glee as we jumped down onto the beach. If you could call it a beach, each grain of what should have been sand was a pearl, lily white and perfect. The sounds of various animals moving in the trees up ahead didn't stop our curiosity as we spread out and explored the island that was made of jewels. Everyone back by midday. The tides are treacherous and we won't be able to wait. People hardly heard the captain. Everyone, everywhere you looked, gold, rubies, diamonds, stares and gasps turned into yippies and hoorays. We'd done it. We'd found our fortune. People hugged each other, threw jeweled encrusted goblets and trinklets to each other, and laughed themselves silly. Some wandered off to explore some more. Jack and Ernie got in a tangle with the local animals that looked a bit like monkeys. They tried to shoo them away with glittering crowns that they found. William stepped in and almost battered them away with a strange scepter he'd picked up. I sauntered down to the end of the beach. One of the monkeys jumped out in front of me, but I didn't think it looked like it was going to cause any bother. In fact, it seemed to want to show me something. I hesitated, so it grasped my hand and led me around some gold-encrusted rocks. In amongst the rocks, it seemed like someone or something had made a little spot for themselves. There was a sort of throne and a little stool in front of it, with a little side table, each made of exquisite material and decorated with jewels of all types. The monkey thing chirruped excitedly and danced off. As it went, it threw something back towards me. No way. It was a red bow that should really belong on a young girl. I pinned it to my shirt, sat down on the throne, and put my feet up. So comfy. What a view. All across the bay, our sailors were skipping around, picking up things, shaking their heads, filling their pockets. What a place. Even the palm trees seemed to be made of jewels. I sank back, quite content. Dear Bonnie, she would never have to worry about money again, and Tilda could have all the pretty things she wanted. And me, what did I want? Dong, 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 dong. Oh, maybe the bell was made of pure gold too. Dong, dong, dong. It seemed quite distant and fading, that sound. Dong, dong. Wait a minute. No. Dong. No, they couldn't. They wouldn't. I sprang up from the luxurious seat, bounced over the rocks, and pelted down the beach. Our ship was already doing an about turn and pulling away from the cove. With no time to take anything at all with me, and it would have just weighed down in my pockets anyway, I plunged into the water and swam my way after the boat. I clambered up the cargo netting with the help of Jack and Ernie and collapsed exhausted on the deck. Well, if you hadn't fallen asleep, you might have gotten a bit better treasure trove to take home. Captain Hendricks laughed down at me as he gulped at what must have been some of our stores of ale out of a glistening tankard. I don't think I managed to get anything, I blustered. What? He sprayed a mouthful of ale onto me. Hang on. We land on a fantasy island made of jewels, the like of which this world has never seen, and he could hardly find the words. You slept through it? Others were gathering around to laugh at me, and to be honest, I couldn't blame them. I don't suppose anyone would be able to spare. Like we always said, no sharing, Jack said. I got to my feet and started clambering up to the crow's nest, where I seemed to belong, now facing in the opposite direction, homeward. What on earth would I say to them? Look, there he is, Bonnie looked as beautiful as ever, and Tilda bounded up to me fast. She threw her arms around me. Daddy! Sweetie! I hugged them both. We were in amongst the most jubilant crowd, people all crying with delight because they were finally being reunited, and of course, because of the incredible stashes that were being revealed. Jack was showing his wife some magnificent treasures. Oh, how wonderful, she gasped. Now we can finally move house to over the hill and away from this wretched village. Jack stopped and mumbled, Well, I quite like living here. Why would we want to move away? Ernie was showing off his prizes to his wife. And look at this. When we sell this one, we'll have enough food for a month. His wife scoffed. Barely lasts a week with you. Ernie looked taken aback, checking his waistline. What do you mean? My family pulled apart from all the others. They stared at me, slightly expectantly. I cleared my throat. It still came out in a whisper. I'm so sorry. Why? What's the matter? Bonnie was genuinely concerned. I still didn't have a clue how to break it to them. I fell asleep when people were gathering their riches on the island. Bonnie laughed. Of all the things, she actually just laughed. My love, I really don't care. We're just so happy that you're back, Daddy. I could see that it was true. They really didn't want any of those riches. And that's when I realized I have always been looking for treasure out there over the horizon. Dearest Tom, it was never out there. Bonnie laughed with me. We had it all along. It's our love for each other, even little Tilda understood. And this time, I'm not going to sleep through it. I understand now. I'm going to love everyone. That's the real treasure. Daddy, you brought me the red bow. Tilda spotted it pinned to my jacket. And I will bring you so much more, but not from far-off islands, from my heart.